talk to you today about demystifying I would say, limits of having a millionaire real estate operation. So, just for fun, actually, and to showcase who we do have on the screen with us, let's use the chat box and tell me your role. What role are you in the operation? In your real estate? I'm going to stop the screen share real fast. I want to see in this chat box who is here. What role are you? We have agent, TLs. What up, TLs? I love having leadership in the house. DOOs, the doer of all things. Agent. Keep rolling. Awesome. DOO and MCA. I mean, talk about really doing all the things. So, all right. Well, with that being said, it is a pleasure and a privilege to be here with y'all. I'm going to get the screen share back on and let's go through this. My name is Nicole Zuber. I am an executive operations coach here at MAPS, and I also have the privilege of leading KW Ops community. Operations is my jam. I have the natural, instinctive gift of seeing all the messes that are made and cleaning them up. And when I was in production, I was making messes at the same time while I was cleaning them up, and it was exhausting. So with that being said, y'all are the heroes. You're the unsung heroes in our industry. And that does not go, you're not forgotten there. And so I'm super passionate about making sure that you are empowered to do your best and be your best. So let's talk about the three myths, because long gone are the days where administrators were just sitting there as secretaries and paper pushers. Game over. So what's the first myth that we hear? Well, operations or administrative teams, they can't contribute to production. Wrong. How do you do that? How in the world do you do that? Well, here's a couple of ways. Your 5-star reviews, those, if you have, as long as you have your Google business page, which is free, by the way, set up appropriately, and you deliver an extraordinary client experience, transaction over transaction, there is no reason why you shouldn't ask for a 5-star review and have places in those processes to ask for them and get them. When you do that, that organically causes traffic to go into your team's site. So you also build your system with those three to five trigger points, is like what I was talking about. I'm going to give you some practical, tactical applications that we teach you in the Millionaire real estate operation. So there are 3 to 5 points. I'm going to just go contract to close. There's 3 to 5 points in the listing side. If you're a DOO, you should be checking in because you're overseeing the operation, right? So there's 3 to 5 spots for contract to close. From the time, let's just say we onboard the file and we set the expectation. I'm so-and-so, this is when I'm in the office, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, a lot of yada, yada, yada. And we will start talking about those reviews that we're going to ask. Then there's a couple of points in the middle after the home inspection, after the appraisal, then when we end the file. So there, I just gave you 4, and this is strictly contract to close. I'm just isolating here. There are 3 to 5 spots where when we are crossing a bridge in a transaction, we could ask for a review and or a referral. So those reviews cause organic traffic to come into the website. Those can turn into leads, right? Leads get converted and turned into production. When we have to ask, people need reminders more than they need accountability sometimes. If you're not intentionally asking, you're just waiting to be invited to the party. That's not how it works. You got to be intentional. Success does not happen by chance. So the other piece is the operation team members, their SOI should be plugged into a 36 touch plan. Now, I saw a lot of administrators on here. I'm going to turn the screen share off again. If you are in a salaried position, I want you to put yes or a thumbs up in the chat box if you have your SOI or your personal Met database in your team's 36 touch plan, 52 touch plan. I want to see this. Boom, 2 right out of the gates. Okay. Well, I don't know, we had a couple hundred people registered for this, so okay, now we're talking, Jessica. So there's your proof, y'all. You can see 100%. Put the people who know you, like you, trust you into the system that you're already built, or you probably were part of building, and get some ROI out of there. You can absolutely contribute to production when it comes to the team. I'm not asking you to go sit in a cubicle and circle dial all day or knock on doors. I'm asking you to just be resourceful with the systems and the processes that we've already built and you're learning to build for many of you too that come into this world, into this program, and just add an extra layer, just one more degree to cause business to come in that wouldn't have otherwise. So there's your first myth. Myth number 2, admin are just behind the scenes. Now, chances are, based off the KPA and whatnot, not necessarily going to want to go charge the front lines. That's not what this is about. Y'all are the heartbeat of the real estate business. And I did not coin that. That came directly from Gary Keller's mouth. The culture ends and begins with the operations team. So I want you to think about this, whether it's a listing process, a contract to close process, the way your CRM is built. When things are being executed by an administrative team member, the odds of you running that scale and running the play the way that the playbook intended it to be run are far greater. Agents, you're on here. I was one. I can poke fun at all of the roles. I've served in all of them. But it is more likely to have an administrative-minded person run the playbook A to Z than it is an independent contractor. Y'all are squirreling out ready to go find the next buyer or seller, especially in this market right now. That's not your strong suit. So you're not just it's not behind the scenes. You are the culture. You keep it all protected, and you're the glue that keeps it all together. The chances of running those plays, like I said, from a contract, I'm going to just use contract to close today. I can go into listing management. I can go into CRM. I could go into follow-up. I'm just going to go contract to close today. Think of all of the steps that it takes to ensure that client goes from onboarding your file to one of a pretty stressful experience in their life, moving. Now, I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer. It's just not butterfly and roses every day. And so the system and process should be designed so the client never has to pick up the phone and say, what's next? If we're not doing that and our system isn't built to do that, well, how in the world are you ever going to have a 5-star review or deserve one for that matter? Food for thought. So chances are we lean on our operations team, our administrative staff, or administrative support. For y'all team leaders that are in here, that's your success team, even in the market center. They are running systems and plays and playbooks to ensure that an extraordinary experience is delivered and that it's scaled. If you have any questions, you could drop them in the chat box. So with that, let's see. Oh, there were the questions that were in the chat box were from Mr. Graham. So myth number 3, there are no metrics to hold the ops team accountable. You know how many times I've heard, oh my gosh, or I've seen an ops GPS, if there is even one. Lots of times that, I'm going to speak in the past because I live in the world now where we have quantified the operation. We've learned how to scale and build GPSs and 411s and accountability around it. Without numbers, you can't measure the quality of the service. Everything is going to be on defense, not offense. So we want to put numbers and accountability to it. So I said earlier, reviews. How many of y'all have 95% or 100% of the closed transactions that our team does? We will receive a 5-star review. That sounds like a good GPS goal. What about referrals? For those of you that had your SOI in your team's database, for those of you that are onboarding the files, or whether it's listing management, contract to close, and we asked 3 to 4 or 5 times per the transaction, it's a numbers game, y'all. You'd be surprised how many leads that you would pass. So let's have some fun here. Let's have some book club fun. MREA, you ever heard of that book? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, page 153. Your philosophy should be for every dollar invested in a business expense, you should receive some multiply of the dollar back, minimum 4 times. That's in the red book. So if you're looking at, I'm just going to say, so we have metrics here. And I talked about reviews. I talked about passing referrals. I'm not saying closing referrals. I'm going to say pass referrals, especially if this is new to you, because you don't have control once that referral is passed, right? This is even for y'all playing the Team Ridge game in the market centers. It's totally possible to do this. So if we don't have the number, so 4 times ROI, there's a mathematical equation that we teach in the perfect operations team on how to find the metric for a role. So if you're at a $30,000 position, I'm going to use simple math, $30,000 salary times 4 is 120,000. So going off of the 4 times ROI times 4 is 120,000. That's how much GCI that you should pass back into the business, in my opinion, for starts. And that's when you become an investment, not an expense or just a baseline salary. We expect a return on that. So simple math, if we have $120,000 ROI that's expected and our average closing is $10,000, divide that by 120 by 10, and that is 12. So once a month, you should be doing all of the things that you're already doing. And I'm going to use contract to close again. You're asking 3 to 4 times at every transaction you touch from contract to close. You should be able to accidentally pass 12 referrals back into the team. That's how you catch that ROI. So the second thing is referrals are the absolute metric to ensure that the systems are being followed and our clients receive an extraordinary experience. Want you to think about it. If there is a reason and you think you're hearing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I would never ask for a referral, or I don't know, like chances are you don't know your system or you don't believe in the system. Well, that's where I want to challenge you. Let's go back and reevaluate that system and improve it so that you are dang confident asking for that. Because that is the lag measure of the result of that extraordinary client experience. No different than the agents. They have a lag measure of what? Units closed. So we talk to our agents about how many contacts did you make? How many appointments did you go on? How many contacts did you make? How many appointments did you attend? We talk to them about those leading indicators. Well, when we know that reviews and referrals are our lag measure, those leading indicators that we have in our weekly 411 with operations are how many contracts, how many files did you onboard? How many asks did you have? How many times did you ask for a review? How many times did you ask for a referral? How many times did you receive them? I just gave you all the formula if you're putting it together in a puzzle. So going back to the metrics, setting this all up on an operations GPS, then rolling that in on a monthly basis into a 411 that leads to the weekly activities. Those weekly activities of those pre-measures I told you about, that's what those weekly conversations sound like. Any thoughts, questions when it comes to that? All right. So the value of an assistant is what we see here. So if we had a minimum of 12 contracts, I'm not actually sure what this slide is. This one's a new one to me. So we just moved that. We're going to move right back through there. So let's go back to the metrics of the operation. Business planning is coming. How many of y'all are going to business planning? Anybody? Okay. So if you aren't, definitely talk to your market center about that or your region. Chances are there's one for you to go to. I want to challenge you, if you're going to business planning clinic, go with the mindset of taking in reviews and referrals. when you're building your department GPS, not the full team's GPS. That is part of the full team GPS. Now I saw somebody raise their hand. Who was that? You're welcome to unmute yourself.
That was probably me.
Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
Oh, no, sorry. I had raised my hand about attending the business planning.
Oh, got it. Got it. Sorry. Slow measure. I'm a lag measure, Ashley. So, no, very good. So, Ashley, consider this. Consider the reviews and referrals based off of your role. And keep in mind that team GPS that you're going to build out for the business plan, I believe that it's best practice that when it's done the right way, each department ends up having their own GPS that is tied to the team GPS. And life is so much cleaner that way. Trust me. Us operations minded people love that. So, all right. So if you are interested, hopefully you're learning something and maybe thinking about it differently. And hear my passion. It's not for like I'm telling you, I've served every role in the operation, and it is so important that we know whether we're winning or losing. And that's why we tied numbers to that. So if you're looking to dive deeper, the Perfect Operations Team is a MAPS fast track coaching course. You get to spend 6 months with me and my passion. And we spend 6 weeks in the transaction coordinator role, 6 weeks in the listing manager role, 6 weeks in the director of operations role. We go over the systems and processes, the blueprints, as we call them. We'll give them to you, the conversations, formerly known as scripts, that you should say when having conversations. We have fun time going over what happens when a client's really frustrated in the listing process. What happens when an agent, you get the phone call and an agent accidentally left the front door open and the cat ran away. Like, we go through all of those scenarios that you can't make up because this is real estate. So 6 weeks in each one of those, we go over the GPS, the 411, the calendar, all of the things that is needed, and so that you are set up for success in your role. So it's live. It's a group coaching call. We have homework. We have student of the week, and we have a darn good time. I will say that. I see a couple of Teapot alumni up in the house today. So it launches October 17th. So in the end of it, like I said, it's you get 6 months of coaching. So it's 18 1-hour calls. You're going to walk away with about 400 pages of a policy and procedure manual that you get the blueprint on, and you're customizing as you go. You might already have an SOP or a manual. I'm challenging you. This market has changed. It's time to go revisit that sucker if we haven't. Your hub deserves it. That QR code gets you that. So what's the investment? $199 a month. That's it. And you're in an environment with like-minded people. And like I said, we go really deep in each one of those roles. And I want you walking out of there knowing whether you're winning or losing. And market centers, if you have questions on how this applies to y'all and maybe a team ridge model, unmute yourself or write it in the chat. If you're building that out, we go over recruiting. There's many DOOs who have recruiting in their role. Onboarding, offboarding, director of operations. You're the doer of all things. I'm not sure who that DOO/MCA person was on the call earlier. You're my hero. So if you want to sign up today, there is $100 off of your first month. And we begin in a couple of weeks. So if you're ready to roll up your sleeve, I want to invite you to the challenge. Let's go. So there are some questions in here. And thank you, Miss Katie. Yes, we have Teapot alum in the house. So Jessica asks, can you give us some scripting, some conversations, not called scripting anymore, the conversation. I know. So conversation, and always cross-reference the do not call list. And I'm not an attorney or a doctor or a lawyer or a CPA or a financial planner. Okay, so let's see. Conversations for referrals with their SOI. I feel like we get stuck often in the thought process of our SOI. They don't see us as agents, yet we're people that will be, assisting them a lot in the process. That is a phenomenal question. Thank you so much for asking that. So the purpose of you putting your SOI in that system is so I'm going to just ask you directly, Jessica, and you could thumbs up or unmute yourself. Are you familiar? So your DOO, so you're pretty familiar with the 36 touch or 52 touch, 72 touch program that you have, right?
Absolutely.
Do you believe in it?
Yes.
Is it bad? Is it badass? I'm just going to say it. Sorry, Mo.
I think it's pretty great.
Okay, so put your people in there, let that system do the heavy lifting, okay? So if you had a conversation with your SOI and you just let them know, hey, I'm part of a team, we have all these fun events, we would love for you to come. You might hear from and I'm just paraphrasing, you might hear from our ISA, you might hear from our agent. Heck, I might even call you, every 4 months. Are you okay with that? Why the heck would somebody say no? You're inviting them with all this value? They're not. Does that help?
Yeah, for sure. I think we just get stuck so often, as our own team of, getting into conversations with our sphere and, having that whole conflict of like, well, I'm not actually the agent that's going to come out for the consult or the appointment or to see your home. My name won't be on the, sign in the yard, but like, you don't understand. I do like 80% of what you'll experience, right? And like, so I think there's like that limiting belief that I keep trying to like make sure I have scripting or conversations around that help get past that limiting belief.
All right, Miss Jessica, this doesn't happen often. Graham, get your seatbelts on. We're going to do a live role play. You ready for this? So, your SOI.
Yep.
I'm Jessica. Throw me what you got. All right. So, hey SOI, this is Jessica. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing awesome. Gosh, I so appreciate you. We had so much fun at soccer practice last week.
Yeah.
Seeing the kids run around and
Great.
whatnot. So I just wanted to run something by you, Jessica. So I'm not sure. I know that you know that we're part of a really big. We're part of the Pace of Richmond. I can't see the rest of it with KW, and we have so many fun events. We do a lot of stuff in the community, and meeting new people is always important to us. Would you mind if somebody from our team either consistently followed up with you, or I even called you like once a quarter just to check in, see how you were doing, and make sure you got some of the invitations to our events?
Yeah, I think that would be okay. I hadn't really even thought about that.
Awesome. Well, with that being said, is 123 Main Street still your preferred address?
Yeah, that's where we live.
Yep. And the number I'm talking to you on, if we were to send you something via text or an RSVP link or to an event, is this a good one to text you back at?
Yep, this is my number.
Awesome. And I have jessica@kw.com.
That's
That's
right.
not going to jump back at me, right? Okay, perfect. Well, we will be in touch in so many ways, and we'll see you next week on the soccer field. And I hope that I trust that our team will win, and somebody from our team will be reaching out to you sooner than later.
I love it. Love it.
Awesome. Okay, what'd you hear? Here's some free coaching. This is what we do in Teapot. Can't help myself.
Yeah. Well, I think there was definitely, I think you weren't selling them on real estate, right? You were just telling them about your team and then you were confirming your information for them. So I think I love the way that you didn't take the forward approach or didn't take that. Like you just said, hey, these are like a couple little highlights of my team and I want you to be able to plug in. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, Jessica, and to all you listening, it's all about value. Now, we might have had a different conversation if we didn't have the amazing touch plan that we didn't have. Like that's another thing we teach you in Teapot is, you walk away with a 72 touch plan and all the things for pie events and all, like we go there. And so if you have that, you have no other choice, but like you serve your community. They deserve to be part of these parties. And then when we tie everything strategically with who else do you know thinking of buying or selling, we could also give a pie to. It's like a no-brainer. Business just, I promise, falls from the sky. There's
Love it.
people on the screen that can attest to that. Oh,
Thanks
thank you
for
for
taking
being
that time.
coachable and our star people
Absolutely.
today. Awesome. All right, y'all. So does anybody have any questions? Any ahas you want to share? Who's going to come and join me in October 17th? All right, I see a couple hands. Let's go. Get that coupon code today. Get signed up. Well, as always, it is a pleasure to spend time with y'all. Thank you so much for hearing us out. And hopefully you learned some things and stretched your mind a little. We're not paper pushers. We are the culture keepers and the implementers of systems as we generate business. All right, y'all, take care. Bye.